Merry Vlogmas Day 22. It is the 22nd of December. And I have made some ginger cookie dough. And I'm just going to chat a little bit about holiday foods while what is that? Oh, it's a sleigh. While I do these little ginger cookie cutouts. Something that I realized, I think it might have even been the first year I was living here, was that I actually left, I think, a bunch of my kitchen stuff when I moved. I think there was part of me that thought I might return to my old life or something. And I actually left some things that I have found now to be oddly sentimental, like cookie cutters, like really like old cookie cutters, like I think some that I might have had from my mom. And they're not anything fancy, they're just like aluminum cookie cutters. They're not, but it's like, oh, where is that weird looking stocking cookie cutter that looks slightly like a penis and things like that. So anyway, so I've been having an interesting day. I went out and I did some grocery shopping. That's the oven you may be hearing humming right now. And I went by World Market to pick up a few little things. I wanted to get some smaller bottles with corks. I'm thinking of giving some of my spiced honey liqueur away for gifts, and I thought I could put it in the bottles with the corks, and then I could dip the corks in some melted beeswax, and that might be a fun thing to do. And then I went to Trader Joe's to get some things. And boy, it was busy out there, but it makes a huge difference when you're not worried about timing. You're not worried about, oh, I gotta get this done, and I gotta get that done, and I gotta get that done because people are coming this day, and I don't have to do that, which is actually makes me very relaxed. So I'm thinking about doing I might have mentioned this, a traditional Polish Christmas Eve meal. And I think I had mentioned also that instead of I won't probably do the fish course, but I think what I'm going to make instead is I'm going to make like some smoked salmon potato cakes. So I'll make like a mashed potato sort of, like mashed potatoes, and maybe put some dill in with it and some onion, and then just like bake it or saute it. And then I'll make pierogis. I'll make mushroom and sauerkraut, maybe with some caraway seeds and onion or shallots in that one. And then I am finding pieces of dog fur and my ginger cookie dough, the special ingredients. So I'm thinking I will make sauerkraut, mushroom, and I got shiitakes for that. Sauerkraut, mushroom, shallot, and caraway for that filling, and then do a prune one. And I'm going to have a beet, I think I'll make a beet soup, a beet borscht. And then probably a vegetable dish, probably some Brussels sprouts browned with garlic and parsnip, maybe a salad. I'll do a fruit compote. I think I'll do like poached pears with morello cherries. And I'm making the ginger cookies. I'm gonna try to make some poppy seed cake tomorrow. We'll call that makowiec. I won't make the pączki because I don't need that many desserts around. I also want to make some haystacks. I got some coconut, and I'm going to melt some chocolate and make haystacks with chocolate and coconut. And I think that's it. I don't, I may just be eating by myself. My neighbor invited me to get takeout Chinese, and I think I'm going to say, look, if nobody else is coming, why don't you come over here and have a traditional Polish Christmas Eve dinner. I think the tradition is to have like 12 dishes to represent the 12 apostles, although the 12 apostles weren't around when Jesus was born, so whatever. Another number seems like it would be more appropriate. And what else? Oh, so here's an interesting thought I had. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I had my mitochondrial DNA tested. And I'm part of a haplogroup that primarily shows up in Ashkenazi Jews, although not everyone who is in this haplogroup has that in their ancestry. I don't know how you know that. I don't know, it's all come down from this one woman particularly, like a couple thousand years ago. So, I mean, I've been mulling that over. So it's on my mother's side of the family, her mother. And my sister seems to say, well, they didn't seem like super Catholic. I don't know what that means. It's like whether they seem more secular than Catholic, I don't know. But there is something that I was thinking about today. I was watching a video about, I think it was how's her name? Mayim Bialik, I think. And she was talking about myths about Hanukkah, and she was talking about the Hanukkah foods, and basically they eat a lot of fried foods. And latkes, I knew about latkes, but this is something that I really didn't know about. They showed jelly donuts. So in Poland, there's pączki. I make pączki, which is a jelly donut. We usually fill them with prune filling, but you can have other fillings in them. And we always had them at Christmas Eve. And most Polish people don't have pączki at Christmas Eve. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because Christmas Eve, I mean, although Hanukkah doesn't always fall right within the week, Hanukkah is closer to Christmas Eve than it is to, say, Shrove Tuesday, like Mardi Gras time, which is traditionally the time when you do have them in Poland, or I think maybe New Year's Eve too. So it is kind of close to New Year's Eve. But I thought, well, isn't that interesting? I wonder if there's some reason other than, why my grandmother did it at that time when that wasn't the traditional time to have that dessert, if it had something to do with Hanukkah. I don't know. Anyway, that was just a random thought. So foods, yeah, Christmas foods. So like I say, if I do my Polish Christmas Eve, I'll have pierogis, and I'll do this salmon potato cakes, which isn't a traditional thing. That's my own meal. Beet soup, some salads, some Brussels sprouts, and then fruit compote, and poppy seed cake, and cookies, and haystacks. And it sounds like I need to invite everybody, other people over, but I don't really have, don't really have anybody to invite, because, everybody else has their own stuff, their own families here. And that's fine. I mean, I honestly don't mind doing it by myself. It's just that it's going to be a lot of food. And so those are all the traditional foods we used to have. I was remembering when I was driving around, you know, these memories that you have from when you're a kid about the way things taste and what things smelled like. And I remember the smell of the ponchki frying on Christmas Eve, or you know, the ham or the Polish sausage on Christmas morning, and the tiered, what do you call it? The tiered plates for all the Christmas treats that went on there. And I remember people used to give us fudge. I remember how that fudge was buttery and gritty and so good. And I don't remember, we didn't have turkey. We didn't have turkey for Christmas Day. We always had ham and sausages. Maybe, one year I did convince my parents to get a goose because I had been reading Dickens and I really wanted to have a goose. I actually like more gamey, kind of poultry, even though I don't really eat meat at home. Like, that's a big cookie. I don't think I'm going to make too many of these. This is a ridiculously large cookie cutter. So yeah, so that's today. It was a little bit warmer, like they said. It's supposed to be warmer still. Now this is silly. Who's going to eat a cookie that size? I don't think I'm going to do that. This is a nice one. I think I am going to make some icing, and another thing that I left in California was my little icing bag and tips. I swear, I wasn't thinking clearly when I was packing, and I was worried about other people. I'm taking their stuff away. 2-second roll. Don't worry about that. First I thought that was a very strange shaped snowman, and then I realized it's supposed to be an ornament. What was I saying? Oh yeah, icing. So I do have some little candy topping things, so I'll use those. But then I might try to pipe some icing just using like a little Ziploc bag and just cut a little hole out of the end of it. I think that should be just fine. And yeah, I'm enjoying my prep. I haven't worked any more on my piece today, but I'm liking where it's going. I did finish up, I think, the embellishment around the crown of the head. It wasn't supposed to literally be a crown. It was supposed to more like be a aura from the crown chakra. But oh well, whatever. But I like the way it's turning out, so I'm happy about that. Oh, and I did go to solstice parties last night. My neighbors came and picked me up, and I didn't know what was happening because I hadn't heard from her. She was going to let me know, and then I didn't hear anything, so I thought, well, maybe they're not going or whatever. And she was just mistaken about date or something like that. So they called me up and they said, well, we'll go whenever you're ready. And I said, oh, I can be ready within a half hour. It doesn't take me long to be ready. So we went to a couple of parties, and they were really nice. I met a lot of other people who are artists. Actually, the two places where the parties were, one was an artist's studio, and the other one was a person's home, and she has a studio in her home. So it was very inspiring to see all the artwork and to see the studios, and it was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So that was nice, and it's nice to, be out with people. And as much of an introvert as I think of myself, it was actually not a bad evening at all. I was pretty relaxed. I mean, of course, other people were driving, so that helped. And everybody was just there was no pretense, and yeah, it was. I was very grateful to be included in those festivities, because I haven't gone to a Christmas party in years, really. I don't even remember the last one. I mean, we had our holiday gatherings, but I'm talking about Christmas parties that are more of a bigger party with a lot of different people there and people that you don't know and all that. So that was nice. I mean, I think it's good for me, for my headspace, to be out amongst, you know, other people, and it helps to broaden my outlook on life and all that. So that's it for today's Vlogmas. A little talk about holiday foods. And yeah, anybody else want to talk about their holiday foods? Please do in the comments, or make a vlog about it. I'd love to hear what other people do. All right, bye.